Hey guys, and welcome to my review of the Thor Ragnarok soundtrack. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I've got two words to describe the score. One is bloody, the other is brilliant. It is absolutely fantastic. So, I didn't think it would be very good. Earlier this year, I was thinking Spider-Man Homecoming would probably be the best Marvel score, Guardians would be crap, and Thor would be meh, like the first two films. But, boy was I wrong. It's absolutely amazing. And, well, yeah, let's just jump straight in. So, the first track on the score, the Ragnarok Suite, gives you a kind of feel of the score as a whole. So you've got a very epic version at the beginning of the Thor Ragnarok theme, which is, for a synth score, there was surprisingly little synth in the suite. It's mainly percussion and orchestral rather than the synth that the rest of the score is, which I think is a mistake for a suite. But there we go, it's still a very, very awesome version of the Thor Ragnarok theme. We've then got the villain themes and going on through it, the actual Ragnarok, not the Thor Ragnarok theme, the Ragnarok theme, which is more the destruction of Asgard, I presume. I haven't actually seen Thor Ragnarok yet, so I'm just guessing as to who all these themes actually represent. Yeah, so I'm going to guess as well as I can, really. So, the suite is very good. I'm pretty sure that it is the Thor theme at the beginning. It is the theme that's present across the entire score, so I can't believe it wouldn't be his theme. But it's all very good. It's about 9 minutes long, and it's just fantastic. It really, really is. It's probably one of the only 9-minute suites I can listen to without drifting off and getting bored and doing something else. It's just, all of it is absolutely amazing. So then we get on to the next highlight, which is track 3, Thor Ragnarok. It's literally just called that. So this is the main theme of the film, and this is where the synth properly starts to come into it. It's fucking brilliant. I first heard this theme because the live stream of the premiere came out a few weeks ago, and I first heard it on the red carpet. I didn't go, obviously, I watched the video, and it's there on the red carpet, and I remember everyone speculating at the time, is this the Thor theme? Is this the theme for the new film? And I was like, I really fucking hope so, because it's awesome. I'm playing it in the background, but it's just fantastic. Definitely the best Thor theme so far of the three Thor films, by a country mile, definitely. And then we go into track 4, the next highlight. So, the composer, Mark Mothersbaugh, I think I'm pronouncing that right. He said previously that he was going to use continuity. So he was going to have bits of the previous scores from each film. So here we see the first example of that with track 4, Weird Things Happen. We've got a bit of the Doctor Strange theme from last year. I absolutely loved that score as well, so it was a very welcome surprise to hear the Doctor Strange theme on this score as well. Presumably this is the part where, spoilers, Doctor Strange comes into the film. I know he's not in it for very long, which is a shame, but I'm glad he's just in it at all. And yeah, it's a very good track. So then the next highlight we go to is track 5, Twilight of the Gods. Now I'm assuming this is a kind of Asgard theme. It's very atmospheric and very deep and a little bit sad. So I do wonder what happens in the film to warrant this track. But it is certainly a very nice one. I think it's about 6 minutes long. And yeah, it's a very nice track to listen to. So then we enter a bit of a lull. I find this with most superhero scores is that they start off really well and end really well, but then they kind of sag a bit in the middle. So yeah, we go about 10 tracks here, which is quite a while considering it's only a 25-track score. We go like a good 10 tracks before we actually hear anything really, really good again. It's all good, but I'm personally looking for highlights. So in terms of really good, we're skipping all the way to track 14, What Heroes Do. Now here, synth properly comes into the score. It's present in the previous other tracks that we've skipped over, but not in a really, really epic and awesome way. But here, we do have it. You've got the Thor Ragnarok theme in a much more synthed up version than the Thor Ragnarok track 3. It's very epic. It's very light-hearted, but very, very epic and very cool, and I can't wait to see it used in the film. And then that kind of synth action cue is continued In track 17, The Revolution Has Begun, and track 18, Sakaar Chase. I think it's pronounced Sakaar, I can't really tell. But yeah, so those two tracks are a bit of a continuation of it. They use the Thor Ragnarok theme less than what Heroes do, track 14, but they're still very, very good, and I absolutely recommend them as highlights. So then we get on to one of my personal favourite tracks on the score. I think this is second to the Thor Ragnarok theme, and that is track 21, Where To. So it starts off quite slow and quite sad, really, but then it builds up, and all of a sudden you hear a little motif, a little bit of the Thor theme from 2011, the first film, and you're like, holy shit, here we go. This is what Mark was saying. He's going to put a bit of the other films into the score. And it starts off quite slow, and then it builds into this massive, epic version of the Thor theme, and it's absolutely amazing. And I'd actually argue it's a better version of the main theme of the first film than the first film actually produced. So that is amazing, and I think it's definitely one of the best tracks on the score. And then we move on to track 22, which may be an end creditsy kind of track. It's very end creditsy. You know, it's a very kind of finishing track. I mean, obviously, without having seen the film, I couldn't tell you. But this is track 22, Planet Sakaar, the final highlight of my highlights here. But it is fantastic. It has a bit of the Thor theme and just kind of wraps everything up, really. Very synthy, very, very nice. So that wraps up the highlights of the score. So now I'm just going to talk about the whole thing, you know, as a whole, what I think of it, and how it compares to other scores released this year and other Marvel scores released previously. So I absolutely adore this score. I think it's fantastic. I'm quite a big fan of synth and electronic scores, so this absolutely floats my boat, this one. Especially given how disappointing Blade Runner 2049 score was, and that was supposed to be the synth winner of this year. But that's another video. Probably one that I'm not going to make, though, because I only really want to make videos of scores that I actually like, because it's not really much fun making videos of scores that I hate. So I don't think a Blade Runner 2049 video will be coming, because it was such a disappointment in terms of score. Anyway. But yeah, so as a whole, this score is fantastic. Now, if I compare it to other scores this year, like Spider-Man or Guardians, it beats Guardians by a country mile, but I think Spider-Man Homecoming just edges this one, purely because Spider-Man as a whole has a lot more interesting tracks than this one, than Thor. And it's a more pleasant listening experience, I think, personally. I mean, you guys may disagree. If you do, put it in the comments below. But yeah, I think this score is second best to Spider-Man Homecoming this year. In comparison to previous Marvel scores, I'd say it rivals Doctor Strange on that level of new and kind of different and very, very good. Doctor Strange, when it was released last year, funnily enough, released around this time last year, I absolutely adored it. It was completely different to any score we'd ever heard before in Marvel, and it was awesome, and it fitted Doctor Strange so well, and the use of the electronics, etc., it was just amazing. And I'm getting a similar feeling with Thor Ragnarok. It's just unexpected, and I absolutely love unexpectedly good scores. So that's definitely something else you can add to the list of reasons why you should buy the Thor Ragnarok score. But yeah, so to wrap this video up, Thor Ragnarok, fantastic score. I'd give it a solid 7. I give it a solid 7 out of 10. In comparison, I gave Spider-Man Homecoming a 9, I believe. But yeah, so I'd say Thor Ragnarok, overall, fantastic score. Let down ever so slightly by the fact that it doesn't have, you know, not all the tracks are amazing. There is a bit of a lull in the middle where there isn't really much going on. And I also feel that the Thor Ragnarok theme is tragically too short. Track 3, the Thor Ragnarok theme, is only a minute long, and it it needs to be longer. Like, Doctor Strange had a 4-minute long main theme, Spider-Man Homecoming had a good 3 minutes. It needs to be longer, this theme. It's so awesome, but it's just too short. And it's not really used enough in the film. At least on the score that I've heard, and yeah. So I'd say that's a bit of a negative there. But still, overall, fantastic score, and I can't wait to see the next one.